Hi, everybody. This is John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on October the 6th in the year of our Lord 2025. Let me go ahead and share this screen with you here. There we go. Okay, now let's jump into some little quick snippets here that I think you'll enjoy.
The primary job of Congress is to exercise the power of the purse. But you're right, Democrats have done this 13 times. They did it back in March of this year. The exact same CR they voted for to keep the government open. And they're not doing it now. So you ask yourself, why are they doing that? Why all of the sudden does Chuck Schumer and the Democrats want to shut the government down? What's changed since March? And the only thing that's changed is that Chuck Schumer is worried about getting a primary from his left from AOC. So he's willing to hold the American people hostage by shutting the government down to make sure that he can beef up his left-wing bona fides by trying to push health care for illegal aliens.
Support
the primary.
Trump's threatening to use RICO charges against Soros targets the operational infrastructure of far-left groups through unprecedented financial investigations and RICO prosecutions. All the while, these arrests and terrorist designations target the far-left groups themselves, their very membership. So Trump, in this second front, is targeting the money and the membership of this wider far-left network around the country, if not the globe. In fact, Trump's national security presidential memorandum directs the FBI's National Joint Terrorism Task Force, the Department of Justice, the Treasury Department, and even the freaking IRS itself to systematically dismantle what Trump is calling radical leftist terrorist networks. And the scope is breathtaking. Trump's threatening to use RICO charges against Soros targets the operational infrastructure of far-left groups through unprecedented financial investigations and RICO prosecutions.
What are you talking about, you cackling fool?
And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant.
Speech on the lips.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen the demonstration of it.
These people are going to go to hell for the evilness that they're perpetuating on God's green earth. They're evil. After Charlie has gotten assassinated, and for them to still continue to push the idea that Donald Trump is a dictator, they want him to get killed. They want more radical people to come out and say, we have to stop this now at all costs. They know that they're radicalizing people with this language, but they do it anyway. He's used the weight of the government to attack his political enemies. Not one of Donald Trump's enemies have gone to jail yet. What enemy is he getting? His vengeance is on illegal immigration? His vengeance is on crime in D.C.? What is his enemy that he's getting revenge for? The American people? To make sure we're sustainable economically? These people just say stuff with no evidence.
I don't think you would be comfortable if you saw tanks rolling down 6th Avenue.
I haven't seen any tanks.
Go to Chicago outside of the Broadview facility and you will see the tanks.
And I'm not even sure what you're saying is true because a lot of the stuff you say ends up being wrong.
But it's,
Kayleigh,
I can only go by the reporting.
Do you think that the things that she's alleging are happening or actually happening?
You don't think there's a lawsuit?
No,
an American man?
Anybody can file a lawsuit, Jessica.
Militarizing American cities. No. Here's what's happening here, Jessica. There are literally bottle rockets that have been thrown at an ICE facility. There are lasers being pointed in the eyes of ICE officers in Portland. Oh, wait, did we all soon forget the attack on an ICE facility last week where anti-ICE was written on the bullet, where it was targeted directly at hurting and killing ICE officers? No, the mainstream media came in and said that was about detainees, and then they were fact-checked, totally and completely wrong. Our ICE officers are under attack across the country. It's not the first time this happened. When I was there in 2020, this same Antifa crowd that's in Portland, they were throwing pig's feet and feces at law enforcement officers. And what did Democrats do? Kate Brown said the law enforcement that's there, the federal law enforcement, were secret police. She was the governor at the time. Nancy Pelosi called the federal agents stormtroopers. Jim Clyburn called them the Gestapo. That's what Democrats did, demonizing federal officers does not work. And I will take the issue of crime and illegal immigration any day. These are winning issues for the Republican Party. And I love that Democrats are taking the bait. Make that your talking point. Tanks rolling down the streets of America. It's not going to work in the midterms. Did not work in 2024.
The legacy media's panic isn't just about this shutdown. It's about the recognition that their Democrat allies have handed Trump the tools for fundamental transformation of Washington, D.C.
Yep.
The Schumer shutdown isn't just backfire. It's providing Trump with the unprecedented opportunity to dismantle the administrative state permanently. And even the legacy media can no longer pretend otherwise.
If you listen to our morning update, AM update, we call it today, which you really should listen to. It's very entertaining, if I do say so myself. My team does a great job. I'm heavily involved in the writing process myself, so it's in my own voice. And I think it's rather snappy and very newsworthy. I've had many leftists tell me they listen to it every day. And what one of them told me was, he said, it definitely has a point of view, but I appreciate it because it helps me understand, kind of the other half that I don't normally listen to. Well, I appreciate that too.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Let's jump back over here. Nice little snippets there. And incidentally, if you don't know, I do share Megyn Kelly's podcast Monday through Friday every morning. So you can come here or you can go to her YouTube page and watch it, either one. Okay, let's jump over here, Murtech on Rumble. This is the live stream that you're watching now, episode 1707. Let me get into that. Right there. Here, Murtech, pause it. Okay, let me close out the live chat, slide down here, and click the Show More button. We have information today from Benny Johnson, from Adogg, Wendy Bell Radio, and X22 Report. We also have some shout-outs that I need to give to WN Yoke 3. You just started following my channel. Anthony Barnes 4 Good just started following my channel. Yaya65 just started following my channel. KT Clapp just started following my channel. Navy Mom 2009 just started following my channel. Trump Bet 21 just started following my channel. Mary Ann L just started following my channel. 62 Tim 3201 just started following my channel. B Land K just started following my channel. Victoria Spruce just started following my channel. Denny 501 just started following my channel. And Halgood just started following my channel. So thank you very much, folks, for following my channel. This is absolutely great. All you people tuned in and following my channel, I hope you're watching tonight, and I hope you enjoy the content. Okay, Debbie BS at Patio Furniture 63 commented on my daily news wrap-up from last night. Debbie BS and Susan080 commented on my episode 1706. Debbie BS commented on my extra 491A. Gunner 6260 and Debbie BS commented on my extra 491B. And Debbie BS commented on my extra 491C. So thank you very much, folks, for your comments. I greatly appreciate those. I enjoy reading your feedback, and I certainly appreciate your support. Okay, let me give this a thumbs up. Boom. There we go. All right, let's get into this without further ado. Great information coming up. Trump breaks internet with meme rampage. Democrats freak out as Elon roars. Master troll. All righty, let's check this out.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Sometimes it's important to just put things in perspective. The world moves really quickly. You got to slow down a second and just appreciate where we are and the blessings that God has given us. And this is just the greatest single timeline in human history for political trolling. There isn't a close second. What the White House has done this week has been just magical. Here's President Trump animating with AI, him taking a Trump 2028 hat and flinging it onto the head of Hakeem Jeffries, and then laughing at Hakeem Jeffries. Now, this is based, of course, on a real photo that is amazing photo, but the animation is just something particularly special. It's like just a different level. And President Trump posting here, Sean Farash, who's one of our dear friends.
This is great.
And he does a great impression of President Trump.
Does.
Many people do President Trump impression, but Sean Farash, this is his name. I'm sorry, that's his name and also his account right there. Here, he's got 380,000 subscribers. He is just a spectacular President Trump impression. Even Elon Musk is loving this. This is really something else. Donald Trump posting it. It's got 53,000 reposts, 289,000 likes, and nearly 17 million views here. And you'll see why.
Hola, mi fellow Americanos y bienvenidos al cierre de Schumer. That means welcome to the Schumer shutdown. We call it the Schumer siesta, right? It's the Schumer siesta. He put the government on siesta, crying Chuck. And El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries, we used to call him Dollar Store Obama, till we realized he's worth far less than $1. But they put the government on siesta to give illegal aliens your health care. We're not going to let it happen. I looked at both of them. I said, we're not going to let it happen. It's no bueno. I said, it's no bueno. They begged me. They said, but senor, por favor, please give illegal aliens the health care. I said, we're not going to do it. We're never going to do it. It's not going to happen. And they're also very upset about our big, beautiful sombreros. You look at them. These are the greatest sombreros the world has ever seen. We really have the best sombreros, and everybody wants one except Crying Chuck and El Hakimo Jefe Jeffries. They don't want one, but they're going to wear one when all is said and done. We're going to end the siesta. We're going to reopen the government, and we will not give in to the demands of Chuck and El Jefe. We're not going to do that. Thank you. God bless you. Dio lo bendiga. And God bless America. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Donald Trump posting that. Again, President Trump posting this. The Trump 2028 sombrero. Sean Farash is the account. There he is right there. Great. You should absolutely follow Sean. He's just fantastic. Trump's meme game evolving. Now, everyone knows that placing sombreros on Democrats is now the fun meme of the right. It's like just the best. And the right actually really enjoys it. Like the right has been loving it. They've been rolling with the sombrero meme. The Democrats have, of course, decided that they're going to teach everyone that the left can't meme. Something we've been saying for the better part of a decade, and call everything racist. That's when the left can't meme because they have no humor. They have no humor because they have no grounding in reality. They have no capacity for self-introspection, laugh at themselves. You have to have all those things to have a sense of humor, right? You have to be like a centered, confident person. And so, yeah, that's why the left can't meme. But the right really can meme. And President Trump has posted this absolute banger. It does include the sombrero about Russ Vought. Russ Vought is a genius who runs President Trump's budgetary process in the White House. And Russ Vought knows how to cut bureaucratic inefficiencies and is going to use this opportunity to probably destroy the deep state. He's going to use the government shutdown as an opportunity to do some savage cutting of the deep state. And President Trump sharing this meme, it's a work of art. Good evening, Russ Vought. Yes, very good. Trump is the first black president. Record black welfare, record black imprisonment, a record black employment. There you go. We made it on Trump's feeds. Truer words have never been spoken. What we're watching, according to the White House spokesperson, the sombreros will continue until Democrats reopen the federal government. Almost Friday. The sombreros will continue until the government reopens.
All right.
They actually played the sombrero memes in the White House briefing room. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just love it. They're using hot dog memes. It's great. President of the United States. Let's freaking go, guys. We asked actually Tim Burchett and Mike Lee about the sombrero memes. They're two of our favorite members of Congress. They're great at memeing themselves. And here's what they had to say. Team has made something for you. Please don't be offended, and please don't have your team ban you ever appearing on the show ever again. We apologize for this. This is made out of love, and it just happens to be hot right now, right? Just happens to be hot. Also, we tried AI, and AI didn't work as well. This is what it looked like when we tried to do Mike Lee mariachi AI. You're like kind of juggling the mariachis with three hands.
Why do I have? Oh, I have three hands. That's impressive, Benny. I like that.
Yep, you're like a Hindu god. Yep.
First of all, not only am I not offended, I consider that a profound compliment. I'm fluent in Spanish. I love mariachi music. My parents actually met in Mexico, and I explained to the president of Mexico a couple of years ago. This is now the former president, Andrés López Obrador. Andrés Manuel López Obrador, also known as AMLO. I told him I think that entitles me to honorary Mexican citizenship, given that my parents met in Mexico. And he agreed. I haven't gotten a certificate yet, but it could happen, especially after he sees that dank meme. That's awesome. I do want to hear Jarabe Tapatio playing in the background. If your team can arrange that, that will make my day.
I mean, AI, like we're working on it. This one, these ones I really like. Klein, put these up. These ones I really like. We're gonna have to perfect it. We're gonna have to get a little better at this.
Oh, okay. This one. That's
photorealistic.
Yeah, that is really good. I've even got good hair. The miracle of memes.
Yes. I mean, Senator, I'm telling you should think about a mustache, bro.
I'm on it.
Okay. This one is this is pre-Ozempic, Mike Lee.
Okay, hey, Benny, that feels like a hate crime right there. I mean, come on. I've never been that sick.
Okay. That's what I said. Okay. All right, enough fun.
I know I've got maximum density at times, but that's a degree of corpulence I have yet to achieve in this lifetime.
Yell at your friend Elon Musk, okay? He owns Grok. Yell at him, not me. I don't own Grok. I'd love to, but I don't own Grok.
That shameless bastard Grok.
Thank you, Senator. We'll see ya. Enjoy the shutdown.
Nos vemos después. Muchas gracias.
All righty, folks. There you have it. A little fun. And it's amazing how the government shut down and Donald Trump being in office, we can make fun of the Democrats. As serious as they try to be about this, we can all just sit back and laugh at them because they're dumbasses. Isn't that amazing? All right. And, in the past, it was like, the Republicans were all afraid of the Democrats. Now it's like, piss on you. Go get a life. If you don't want to open the government up, that's fine. We'll shut things down and we'll save the taxpayers some money. Fine. Go that. We'll cut your grift. Fine. Play your game. And we'll play ours. Let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Benny Johnson. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back over here. Close out the live chat again. I was chatting with Debbie BS. Okay, the real Adogg. Trump jumps out of his seat, not really, after Mike Johnson accidentally just revealed something really big. Okay, well, Mike Johnson is going to talk about some stuff, but I didn't actually see Trump jump out of his seat. But here we go.
Ain't studying them.
Israel.
All right, well, let's turn to the big news here in Washington, of course, which is the shutdown. Before lawmakers broke for the weekend, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the House would not return to Capitol Hill this week. They were in tour till Leader Schumer reopens the government. When is the last time you spoke with Republican leadership?
Well, the last time there was a conversation with Republican leadership was in the White House meeting last Monday. And unfortunately, since that point in time, Republicans, including Donald Trump, have gone radio silent.
Yep.
And what we've seen is negotiation through deep fake videos. The House.
Okay, I've got to stop this here. I mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. Donald Trump has nothing to do with this. He doesn't have anything to do with this. This is in the Senate. Okay? The senators have to negotiate this. Donald Trump doesn't have anything to do with it until it gets out of the Senate and on his desk. Then he can either sign it or he can veto it. The senators can play their games all day long, and Donald Trump can go golf while they're doing it. Because he doesn't have a vote in the Senate. He might have some influence, probably has a lot of influence, but this needs to be worked out by the senators. It needs to pass with 60 votes. I think they only have like 53. So, go ahead, speak your bullshit. We're not listening.
Canceling votes, and of course, President Trump spending yesterday on the golf course.
Okay.
Boy,
And your
they'd be
point?
so worried about President Trump being on the golf course. They keep bringing that up every single time. Mad because he's on the golf course and not sitting there listening to the crap that's coming out of their mouth. And not only that, you already know MSNBC is still over there melting down over Schumer shutting down. This is what I don't get. Why they keep trying to blame President Trump when you got Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer is the one that shut down the government. They did it and trying to blame President Trump for what they did because they wanted money and he didn't give them the money. So they said, you know what, if you're going to give us that money,
He can't give them
we're going
money.
to shut down the government.
It's up to the
And then
Senate.
you got MSNBC over there still trying to talk about President Trump. Look at it, breaking the meltdowns over the Schumer shutdown or getting more desperate. Look, check out what they're saying.
Well, first, this is something that we knew Trump would do. He would continuously abuse his power and the power to deploy and federalize National Guard all over the country. And that's what he's done in California and across the nation. The move to send California National Guard is, I think, a violation of the spirit of the judgment that was ruled by one of his own appointees that the conditions to deploy the National Guard or the military to Portland do not exist. There's no insurrection going on. So what he's done is ignored a court order, violating the spirit of the law. And if he continues to do it, he's going to do it again and again and again. And when it comes to when he had that, I would say, just disgusting display addressing our leaders, our military leaders from all over the globe, it was just an abuse of power, but also says that we're not serious. And then trying to say that the enemy is the American people itself, U.S. citizens, that is dangerous. And what I think he's doing is he's trying to normalize having troops on the ground. He's trying to normalize saying that the enemy within should be attacked. It should be contained, even though there's no such enemy. And he's going to use the military to do it. I'm proud that the military, they were obeying orders. They were there to listen to the speech, but at least they didn't react because they know what he's doing is wrong and is not what America or the military stands for.
Boy. I'm telling you, they go over there on MSNBC and just say whatever.
What the Democrats are demanding is that illegal aliens that care for them in an emergency room should be reimbursed at a higher rate
To the hospitals.
To the hospitals than American citizens, young pregnant women. They want to pay more for illegal aliens than U.S. citizens, and we are against that. The reason it's illegal right now for illegal aliens to receive taxpayer-funded benefits is because Republicans wrote it into the law July 4th. Don't take my word for it. Look at page 57, section 2141 of Chuck Schumer's counterproposal. It's on my website at speaker.gov. Everybody go look. Don't take my word for it. Read their section. They want to reverse those changes.
They just open their mouth and just say whatever. So President Trump just sending troops there just to be sending them is a reason that he's sending troops to Portland, to Chicago, because of what's going on. He ain't just sending troops there just to be sending them because he felt like it. And they know that for a fact.
Yep.
And they still sit up there and push this same lie. Now, last, I want to show y'all this. It's a breaking. Mike Johnson exposes why the Democrats shut down the government because, like I said before, taxpayer benefits for illegal aliens. Let's check out what Mike Johnson said.
We filed a 24-page clean CR. They filed a dirty CR as a counter proposal, included in it, and they brought this up at the meeting yesterday. They want to restore taxpayer-funded benefits, American taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens, okay? We're not doing that. We got rid of that in our One Big Beautiful Bill. We're not going back to that policy. This was a big issue in the election last fall. American taxpayers are not supposed to fund people who break the law coming into the country illegally. They're demanding that as a condition of their votes. They also want to gut The $50 billion that we included in our legislation have already passed, signed into law, to protect rural hospitals. They want to claw that money back, inexplicably. They want to give the Corporation for Public Broadcasting $500 million, $500 million, to prop up these left-leaning media organizations that we defunded. I don't think, and the American people don't think, that taxpayers should be funding that in the age of, ubiquitous media coverage and so many options. So all these things that they're trying to cram into a very simple, remember the terms of this, 7 weeks. We're only buying until November 21st, again, to allow the appropriations process to continue. And I think this is very important. We've talked about this on the program before. I've been trying very hard since I became Speaker 2 years ago to force the Congress back into the regular appropriations process. And why is that so important? Because that's how you act as a good steward of the precious resources of American taxpayers.
So there you go right there. Y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. Obviously, you can see Hakeem Jeffrey is just full of lies. They want this money so they can prop up these illegal aliens because they want these illegal aliens votes. And that's exactly what they're doing. And President Trump is not studying them. That's the reason why he just pretty much went radio silent and just doing other stuff. And I agree 100% that he should do that.
I agree with him. I totally agree with him. Okay, as I said before, it's up to the senators. They have to work this out. Now, if they put this in the bill and then Donald Trump vetoes the bill, then you can say he shut down the government. But he doesn't have the power to shut down the government. It's sitting in the Senate for them to make a decision on. Whether Trump signs it or not, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, this does come from Adogg. I am subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. See how easy that is? Just click and you get the thumbs up there. Pretty easy. Okay, let's jump back here and see what Wendy Bell has to say. Democrats need to look in the mirror. Okay, we're going to start this off right after her Pledge of Allegiance. Hopefully.
It's almost as though everything that is so ridiculously, incredulously unsafe, demented, deranged, and dangerous that's going on in this country, that's clearly at the hands of the Democrat Party, it's gotten so preposterous, it's gotten so in your face, judges have gone so far to pretend it's not going on, that now you've got a mass awakening in the Black community, my friends. I will say one of the things I witnessed over the weekend, going through social media periodically here and there, was to see blackface after blackface take their phone, hit record, and say, what are we doing? Do we not understand that this party has lied to us generationally? And they're fighting now to keep the dangerous goons that came across the border, Tren de Aragua and others, and are defending Antifa. They are specifically wanting our Black communities to be overrun, to be unsafe, to be dangerous, to be chaotic in perpetuity. Enough is enough. You've got people who are in the Black community looking very seriously at what's going on. This is all part of the wake up. All part of the pain of waking up and seeing exactly who's been lying to you for so long. So did you hear over the weekend, journalist Nick Sorter, who's been on this program a couple times, in Portland, Oregon. He's in Portland outside the ICE facility, monitoring as a journalist what goes on after the sun sets in that beautiful city where a judge has said the Trump administration has failed to provide enough evidence that people there are in any danger. This doesn't rise to the occasion of the National Guard. There's no real threat to people. This isn't some reason to bring the Guard into town. Really? Well, as Nick Sorter was recording what was going on outside the ICE facility, as Portland police were there watching it, he got punched. He got punched, he got bullied, and he got arrested. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, because this is Crazy Town, USA. I want you to hear Nick moments after it happened, probably hours after it happened. He hopped on Fox News to be like, you know what? I believe that if you're a conservative covering what's really going on, you're the actual one in danger. Listen.
Kayleigh, when they say they make arrests based on observed behavior, in these circumstances, I believe that observed behavior was being a conservative. Just being totally honest with you. You saw the video. There was another video that came out yesterday showing a close-up of what happened, and nobody, even my biggest detractors, cannot take that video and say I was the aggressor in the situation. Simply trying to walk down the sidewalk with my camera. I'm actually walking to my car at the time, and they jump in the way. They block me. They start surrounding me, and I keep trying to walk around them, and they continue to push me, and then eventually one of them throws a punch. So, and then 20 seconds later, I end up in a hole. And then what do I do after that? I get up and I walk over to the Portland police, not to report anybody, because honestly, I didn't expect anything to be done anyway. I just walk over there for a little bit of safety. Maybe it'll calm down a little bit for a few minutes. But instead, I sit there 7 or 8 minutes, and a sergeant walks up and points to me and says to the officers, "Cuff him." No reason given. The officers didn't know what they were doing. But in Portland here, Kayleigh, at this point, the officers, your rank and file officers, do not do anything unless they are given a direct order to by one of their superiors. So somebody made the call to have me arrested. We just don't know who yet. And I think we're going to find out.
And so now you have Harmeet Dillon. She is Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division of this administration. She's investigating journalist Nick Sorter's arrest. Why does it seem that the Portland Police Department is working with Antifa? We're going to find out.
Good question.
Here she is on Newsmax.
Portland Police Department has absolutely failed to protect the people of Portland going back well over a decade. They've been in the crosshairs of the United States Department of Justice dating back to 2010. A federal consent decree was actually issued against Portland's police department in 2012. They tried to delay it by a couple of years, but it went into effect 11 years ago in 2014. Since that time, as we've all seen on the television, there have been numerous riots with Antifa over the last 5 years. And while Portland was temporarily sort of in the about to get out of the consent decree phase, because of its failure to properly arrest people, document what was happening on the streets, keep people safe, they haven't gotten out from under the consent decree. So what we're doing today is actually under the purview of an existing federal consent decree over bad police practices. And we issued a very detailed letter this morning demanding to know why a journalist was arrested, why a second journalist, Katie Daviscourt, who was viciously assaulted earlier this week, where the police had the assailants temporarily in custody and let them go and did nothing about it. Why does it seem like the Portland police are actually working for Antifa as opposed to the people of Portland?
Right. So she says fancy things like consent decree. What does that mean? Well, when the federal government issues a binding agreement between the government and a state or local entity, where the state or local entity, i.e. your police department, has to agree to implement certain reforms to correct federal law violations identified by the government. That's what they've been under since 2014. That hasn't been working very well in Portland. Blue-run Democrat hellscape. So now you've got Portland residents across the street from this ICE facility who have been kept up night after night since middle of June. You've got these Antifa marauding gangs of goons bullying anybody, putting ICE agents in danger. Up 1,000%, guys. And Caroline Levitt says, you know what? Not only is Pam Bondi on this, President Trump is all over it too. Here's the press secretary.
Just last night, we saw an extremely troubling incident where conservative journalist Nick Sorter was captured on video being taken into custody by the Portland police after he was ambushed by Antifa and was defending himself from these assaults. But instead of arresting these violent mob members night after night after night who are ravaging this community, the police arrested a journalist who was there trying to document the chaos, and everyone in this room should be extremely concerned about that. The Department of Justice spoke with that journalist this morning, and they will be launching a full investigation into his arrest. This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city. It is not their city. It is the American people's city, and President Trump is going to restore that. I just spoke with the president about this, and he has directed his team here at the White House to begin reviewing aid that can potentially be cut in Portland. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. There will also be an additional surge of federal resources to Portland immediately, including enhanced CBP and ICE resources. Law and order will prevail, and President Trump will make sure of it.
100%. Saw a statement by the president of El Salvador this morning, Nayib Bukele. And he said this: if you don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel to block all reforms, protecting the systemic corruption that put them in their seats.
Yes.
Bing, 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 bing. What is going on in America right now in some choice cities, think Portland, think Chicago, right, is the active pushback against you getting what you voted for. Because you voted to close the borders. You voted for law and order. You voted for dangerous illegal gangs to be rounded up, to be criminally charged, and to be gotten the hell out of your country. And you have a Democrat Party corrupted and co-opted by a progressive, dangerous wing that doesn't think that you should get what you voted for. But Donald Trump is the threat to democracy.
Right.
Well, when we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, let's talk about the federal government getting involved now. Okay? What do you do when your cops appear to be in bed with Antifa? Oh, that's an interesting conundrum. Why don't we go there next on the Wendy Bell?
Okay, let me get this up here. About the 25-minute mark.
That judge has gone.
Okay. Hello.
I get to a point where you're sort of like,
sorry.
By moves to protect the federal buildings. Judge, apparently appointed by President Trump in his first term. Her name is Karen Immergut. And she said, no, President Trump, you're not allowed to bring the National Guard into Portland. Now, there's some conflation of what's really going on. So the National Guard is intended to protect the federal buildings. The federal buildings, by the way, which the feds had to put fencing around because the Portland police refused to step up and help them protect. And then when the feds put boarding up and fencing around the federal buildings, which were under assault by marauding goons from Antifa, do you know what the Portland, let's just say, mayor did? Yeah, he sued him. He sued him for like a zoning violation. Are you out of your mind? You get to a point where it's like, you know what? If you want to devolve into total chaos and you want to have madness and murder on your streets, I get to a point where you're sort of like, all right, you do you. Good luck with that. But see, the president was elected for all people. And all people includes those in those communities that are under siege through no fault of their own. And this president feels he has a duty, an obligation to fix that and to make the streets safer. Protect the federal buildings. This judge said, no. She said the state had provided substantial evidence that the protests at the Portland ICE facility have not been significantly violent or really at all disruptive in the days or the weeks leading up to the president's directive. I wonder if that judge has gone to Portland to see exactly what's going on, to speak to the residents. That's right. The answer would be a resounding no. We have a problem with judges, ladies and gentlemen. So trendingpoliticsnews.com headline: DOJ opens investigation into Portland police after weeks of violent rioting.
Uh-oh. What happened?
protect the federal buildings. This judge said, no, no, no. She said the state had provided substantial evidence that the protests at the Portland ICE facility have not been significantly violent or really at all disruptive in the days or the weeks leading up to the president's directive. I wonder if that judge has gone to Portland to see exactly what's going on, to speak to the residents. That's right. The answer would be a resounding no. We have a problem with judges, ladies and gentlemen. So trendingpoliticsnews.com headline, DOJ opens investigation into Portland police after weeks of violent rioting. Would the judge like to see this headline? Because apparently it has eluded her as she's been waving the wand from the bench. The Justice Department opening an investigation of the Portland Police Bureau's questionable practice surrounding weeks of sustained attacks and violent rioting targeting federal buildings and agents in the city. This is within the purview of the executive branch. This is his job, right? If you're going to do looting and you're going to do other stuff in the streets of Portland, all right, that's on you. Trump wants to secure and protect the ICE facility, where migrants, illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens are being processed and ultimately shipped. Yes, he wants those protected. The news was announced just hours after conservative journalist Nick Sorter was arrested by Portland police after he was surrounded by a mob of far-left rioters, some of whom damaged his equipment and ultimately assaulted him. Despite the circumstances of the attack, Sorter was taken into custody and charged with disorderly conduct. Say what? He was doing nothing but filming, and they gooned around him and bullied and then threw a punch. His arraignment is set for 2 p.m. this afternoon, Western time. Yes? I can only imagine what he'll be charged with. I don't know, exercising his First Amendment right as a conservative, because it appears you don't have those rights. Just a day before, on the ground, reporter Katie Daviscourt, who was consistently documented far left and Antifa violence in Portland and Seattle and other cities, was assaulted with a metal pole. Did you guys see her face? Nice big black eye. Now, the Portland police, they saw it happen. They watched it. The officers did nothing. And what Nick Sorter is reporting from his experiences on the ground is that the police don't do anything unless they get directed by an overlord, whomever the police chief, this day guy is. Well, about him. Portland Police Chief Bob Day. Who is this guy? Did you know that he has a little side hustle going on in addition to his Portland police chief job? Yeah. He owns a site called Reluctant Change. It's a consulting firm offering workshops and keynotes. Of course, he would be providing them on, quote, leadership, navigating change, whatever the hell that means, and DEI topics, among others. This really is the guy that is in charge of the policing in Portland, Oregon. A guy who's clearly a left-wing activist himself, who has a side hustle going around and speaking to groups about the beauty and joy of box checking while hiring. Really? Yes, the DOJ must investigate. They have to. Can you imagine what they will find? This is just part of the overarching madness today, ladies and gentlemen. You've got J.B. Pritzker, you've got Gavin Newsom, and others preening for the cameras and demanding that Donald Trump is an authoritarian. This is the authoritarian I voted for. Because when you put people in danger, and when we get to see on live television or live video, a journalist getting attacked, and he got attacked again last night, ladies and gentlemen, Nick did. What's going on? Sounds like lawlessness to me. Huh. Well, when we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio...
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. She's got some great information. The link to this video is in the description box if you want to go ahead and watch more of this, by all means do so. She's got great stuff. All right, let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Wendy Bell. I'm subscribed to her channel. I've given her a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. I want to share some information here with you from 1775 Coffee, okay? So here we go.
Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash.
All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler.
$170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is.
Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does.
All right, there you have it, folks. Let me jump down here to X22 report, episode 3745A. Trump has taken the economy to the next level. Energy prices are about to drop. I see them dropping. I mean, they go up and down. They go up and down, but, you know, they go up and then they go down a little bit more. They go up a little bit and go down a little bit more. So we're moving in the right direction. Let's see what X22 report has to say.
Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private wealth central bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see that they have been pushing the shutdown to do what? To stop the Federal Reserve from lowering the interest rate. Yes, this is one of their agendas, and I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they knew that they were going to push this. Now, again, Trump and his team, they're defunding the entire deep state operation while the government is shut down. And I do believe Trump is hoping that the deep state players will keep the government shut down probably around 61 days, because that is the magic number where he can actually fire the people permanently. Can he lay off a lot of people? Can he shut down different agencies? Of course. But I do believe the deep state, I do believe they're being instructed to keep the government shut down. So this way, the Federal Reserve can have an excuse of why they can't lower the rates anymore. Now, once again, you can see the Federal Reserve, they're being instructed from those individuals above their pay grade, and they're being instructed to keep the rates where they are. They would probably like to raise the rates, and you can see out in Europe, the economy is starting to break down. Now, they might be using Europe as the excuse of why they need to raise the rates later on, because as we could see at this point in time, the Eurozone, the inflation is starting to pick up, and we can see that unemployment rates, they're rising to 6.3%. So this is very, very interesting, because what's happening is out in Europe, the entire economic system is completely and utterly falling apart. Remember, they're pushing the Green New Scam here in the United States. That's what Joe Biden was doing.
Yep.
He was pushed, not just him, but we know the people behind all of this. They were pushing the Green New Scam. They were pushing us into the Great Reset. And Europe, they haven't stopped. They're continually doing that. And what we're seeing now is that inflation has taken effect. We see that unemployment rate is going up. And I wouldn't be surprised when the entire world starts to feel this. The Federal Reserve, they might be saying, okay, let's look around the world here. Let's hold steady. Let's not lower the rates because of what's happening in other places. Now, of course, at this point in time, they can use the excuse of the shutdown. But eventually, Trump is going to put a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve, because think about what he's doing right now. He's going to be bringing the energy prices way, way down. And we could see that OPEC right now, they're ready to make a major, major move. But when we look at Europe, we could see that Germany, yes, they were the template of the Green New Scam, the Great Reset. And out in Germany, jobs are being lost left and right. So following the Build Back Better agenda, the EU went all in for green energy proposals. EU banking and finance followed suit, funding investment capital for electric vehicles to replace combustion engines. And this put the EU, specifically Germany, in the position of competing against the largest EV industrial base in the world, and that is China. The second major flaw was capital only flowing to the EV sector, and Europeans, along with majority of the industrial West, are just not buying EVs at a production capacity to match prior investment. Put it all together, and Germany is trying to compete with China to produce a product their consumer base does not want. And most of the people around the world do not want EVs. Yes. Is it okay to have an EV? Of course it is. It's your decision. But no one should be forced into only purchasing an EV. There are many people that said, you know something, I would like an EV just to drive around town. I can charge it up in my house, but I also want a gas-powered car. But you could see what they were trying to do. Europe, the Biden administration, which is really the Obama administration, they were pushing EVs and saying, this is the only automobile that you could actually have. Everything else we're going to get rid of. It's almost like when Obama pushed the Affordable Care Act. And how did that work out? Not too great. And what we're seeing right now is that the German people, they now are losing their jobs. And as of right now, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, and other German automobile manufacturers, they're going to be eliminating 100,000 jobs by 2030. This is how bad it is out in Germany. And you could see it's going to get a lot worse because, again, their entire mission was to do what? To bring us into the Green New Scam. And you could see here in the United States, the opposite is happening.
I'm sure that's exactly what they wanted. These elitists. They wanted people to be out of work. They want people to be dependent on them. That's exactly what they want. And they don't care how miserable they make your life as long as they feel you are dependent on the elites. Okay? It doesn't seem that Donald Trump is that way. It seems like he wants to give people an opportunity to go out and work and make money and have a life for themselves. But the elites don't want that. They want to take your money and give it to people that don't work, give it to people that break the law, and you piss on you. Just because you're an American citizen and working for a living and are capable of voting, they don't care. The more corrupt, the better as far as Democrats are concerned. Prove me wrong.
Trump reversed everything and said, nope, we're canceling all that. Since the shutdown, we could see that all the Green New Scam projects across all the different states, especially the blue states, they're being canceled all over the place. We're saving billions of dollars. And Trump right now, he's prepared to do what? He's prepared to take the economy to the next level. And how do you do that? You lower energy costs. Now, we'll be talking about that in just a sec. But first, we could see that U.S. home prices, they're starting to slowly decline right now. The Kobisi letter on X put this out and said, home prices across America's 20 largest cities fell by 0.07% month on month in August, less than the 0.20% decline expected. This marks the fifth consecutive monthly drop, the second longest streak in 14 years. Prices were still up by 1.82% on a year-to-year basis, the smallest gain since July 2023. Meanwhile, U.S. home values adjusted for inflation recorded their third consecutive monthly decline. Despite this, real home prices remain approximately 10% above their 2006 housing bubble peak. So basically, this is very, very interesting. So home prices, they're starting to drop right now, which is very, very interesting because as Trump continually pushes the pressure on the Fed to lower the rates, we're going to have home prices come down. We're going to have interest rates come down at the same time, which is really going to spark the home industry, the real estate industry, where we're going to see a lot of people start to get into the market, and this is going to drive other industries. It's going to drive lumber, it's going to drive copper, it's going to drive home furnishings, you name it. It's going to push this to the next level. And to push the entire economic system to the next level, what do? You got to lower energy prices. And that's exactly what is about to happen because magically, OPEC is preparing to increase oil productions again. And Saudi Arabia is pushing this. Isn't this interesting? And Trump has made quite a number of deals with Saudi Arabia. He's in line with Saudi Arabia. And now all of a sudden, OPEC has reversed this strategy of output cuts from April to boost market share and in response to pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump, desire for lower oil prices. So OPEC is going to be pushing quite a bit. So with OPEC increasing oil production by 137,000 barrels per day starting in October, what is this going to do? Well, we're going to see oil prices start to come down. And we're going to see oil prices probably start to fall around $2.90, $2.80, maybe even a little bit lower as we move into 2026. So as OPEC begins to ramp up production come this October, right now in this month, we're going to see oil prices start to drop. Now, of course, in other places, it's going to drop quite a bit. Now, I don't know.
Okay, he's going into a commercial here.
Before making investment decisions. Faster than other places like California, they're probably not going to see oil prices drop that much. But in many other states, we're going to see oil prices come down. And I'll explain why in California, we're not going to see oil prices really come down all that much. Plus, they have a lot of taxes there.
Yeah.
But around the rest of the country, the people, they're going to experience much, much lower energy prices, which is going to assist Trump in taking this economy to the next level. Because remember, he's bringing the manufacturers back to this country. He wants to create jobs, and he wants prices to come down all over the place. Remember, he's holding inflation steady right now. Inflation is caused by the creation of currency and then taking that currency and putting it into the economy, which dilutes the currency that's already there, and the currency then loses value. So if you can stop that, what happens? You can actually hold inflation steady. Now, think about it. Trump is bringing in tariff money. Is he creating currency? No, he's already using the currency that's already in circulation and just bringing it back to this country. So he's not adding additional currency to the system. You see, when the D's say, listen, we need $1 trillion, just like they're doing right now with the shutdown. We need $1 trillion because we want to pay for illegals, medical insurance, and other things, and we want to launder the money. That's really what they want to do. Because remember, Trump has shut down their entire money laundering system, and he's shutting down their funding. So the D's, what they would do is they would borrow the money from the Federal Reserve. They would create their ridiculous programs. You know, a very small percentage would go to the ridiculous programs, and the rest would be laundered throughout different NGOs and put back into the economy here in this country and around the world. Trump, he is not doing that. The currency that is being brought into his tariff system is the currency that already existed around the world. He's just bringing it back to the United States. He's not adding to the currency in this country. It's already been out there. So is this going to affect inflation? No, it is not. It doesn't dilute the currency because the currency was already created. So this is how Trump, in one way, this is how he's getting around the inflation that the Federal Reserve thought was going to happen. And by lowering the energy costs and bringing fuel prices way down, what does that do? Well, it lowers the delivery costs, like UPS, FedEx, and the rest. It lowers the manufacturing process because you don't have to use that much energy. It lowers the amount of energy needed to ship the products using airlines.
Yes.
And also, people are going to pay less for airline flights.
Yes.
And those people that are filling up at the pumps, they're going to have more money in their pocket. So by lowering the energy costs, this is going to help Trump push the economy to the next level. And think about all the manufacturers that he's bringing back to this country, because now we can say, look, energy is dropping like a rock here. And as you bring back the manufacturing to this country, you're going to experience cheaper energy, and you can produce your product for a cheaper price, which is actually going to enable you to sell your product for a much cheaper price than if you were creating that product out in another country. And think about it. If he removes all the regulations, which he's going to do, and gives them tax credits, which he's going to do, he's going to create incentives where he's going to bring back a lot of manufacturers to this country. And this is going to really push the economy to the next level. Now, like I said before, in California, you might not see lower energy costs. They might come down a little bit, but think about it. First of all, California, they were the template for the Green New scam. They really placed a lot of taxes on oil.
Okay, I'm going to pause this here. Let me just jump over here. You talked about gasoline tax in California. $1.18 per gallon. Gasoline tax in California. Isn't that nice? Now, I also did a search for, I live in Indiana. Gasoline tax in Indiana is 36 cents. Okay, so it's about 82 cents more in California than it is in Indiana. So, you know, the prices going down in gasoline in California. If the base of petroleum costs goes down in California, it wouldn't surprise me if they raise the gas tax again, since people are used to paying like $7 a gallon for gasoline in California. Now, you know, I don't know. I've heard the gas in California is like $6 or $7 a gallon. Now here in Indiana, it's running around $3.289. You know, sometimes it dips a little bit below that. Sometimes it's up to $3.19. But you know, for $6-7 a gallon in California, there's got to be a lot more built into that price of gasoline in California than just the tax. I'm not sure what that is. Just the cost of living in California, I guess. All right, let's get back to this.
And gas. And they were forcing the refiners out of the country because, again, it was the template for the Green New scam. Plus, there would just happen to be a fire out in L.A., and it looks like Chevron's refinery, well, they're having a major problem. The fire broke out in a jet fuel unit, but this is going to affect the prices of fuel in California. It might also affect the prices maybe in Nevada and other areas close to California, because like Arizona, because they get their fuel from these refiners. Now, these refiners, they only make up like 1.5% or so of the gas that's being refined, and it's mostly in California. So those people that live in California, you might still see higher fuel prices. Now, I do believe this is probably going to be being done on purpose. They're going to try to blame Trump for all of this. But again, it's not going to work because the rest of the country, they're going to see fuel prices start to really come down. And again, the deep state players, what do they want? They really want to go to the Green New scam. So again, if you're seeing fires and you're seeing something happen out in California, most likely this was done on purpose to push their Green New scam, just like out in Germany and many other places. And you can see it's all falling apart right now. But what Trump is doing right now, since he has the Middle East and he has relationships with Saudi Arabia, you could see he has the ability to say, listen, we need more oil production, bring the prices down. And I do believe this is going to be done moving into 2026. I wouldn't be surprised if they ramp it up more so while Trump prepares the drilling in this country. And I do believe we're going to see a lot of drilling in this country as we move into the year 2026. Because, again, he's putting everything into place, removing the regulations, making it possible for these oil companies to drill in this country. And it doesn't happen overnight. So I do believe probably in the mid part of 2026, you're going to see a lot of drilling, and all of a sudden you're going to see fuel prices. As we get closer and closer to the midterm, I do believe the fuel prices are going to come down quite a bit. Now, he's using OPEC right now to assist in lowering the oil prices. And I think in many parts of the country, you'll probably see fuel prices around $2.60, $2.70, maybe even a little bit lower than that. And people are going to go, holy crap, look at this. Fuel prices have come down quite a bit. And as we get to the mid part of 2026, moving into the midterms, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see in some places fuel prices anywhere around $2.20, $2.25. And people are going to be absolutely shocked. And this is going to help the economy quite a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if fuel prices go under $2 at one point. I'm not saying it's going to happen right before the midterms, maybe in one area or so, but that would be absolutely amazing. And this is going to shut down the entire Green New scam, the push for EVs, not just in this country, but around the world. And this is actually going to shut down the central bank's move into the Great Reset, while Trump is defunding the entire system. And you can see, as he makes the deals, as he puts the tariffs in place, basically as he evens out the trading across the globe, basically what he's doing is dismantling the globalist system one step at a time and their plan to bring us into the Great Reset. And as he does this, I do believe he'll be making moves to move us away from the fiat currency and into the alternative currency, which I do believe that narrative will probably begin as we get closer and closer to the midterms. And it's really going to pick up once we, the Patriots, win over the Congress, which is the House and the Senate, and Trump takes full control. I do believe this is when the narrative of gold.
Oh, why does it do that? I don't know why it's doing that.
And gas, as he evens out the trading across the globe, move us away from the fiat currency and into the alternative currency, which I do believe that narrative will probably begin as we get closer and closer to the midterms. And it's really going to pick up once we, the Patriots, win over the Congress, which is the House and the Senate, and Trump takes full control. I do believe this is when the narrative of gold and Bitcoin pushing the idea that we need to go back to the Constitution. I do believe this is when it's really going to start to pick up. And this is when people are going to start to realize, holy crap, I think we are going back to sound money and we're going back to the Constitution. Now, of course, we know the central bankers, they're going to be pushing back with everything they have. And we know with the shutdown right now and what's happening out in Europe, we know the Federal Reserve, they're going to try to push back with everything they have because, again, they don't want Trump to succeed. But at this point in time, all they'll have left is another event. We're seeing the event right now, but I do believe they're going to be waiting for the major event to try to push the idea that the financial institution is doomed, is all Trump's fault. But I do believe Trump, in the end, is going to basically turn the tables on them, and we're going to be able to shift away from them. And I do believe he'll probably make the argument of blaming all of it on the Federal Reserve, maybe even pushing the idea we need to audit the Federal Reserve. And once we have the House, once we have the Senate, we'll be able to pass a bill or have a vote to actually audit the Fed.
That would be nice.
And shift away from the Fed and back into the Constitution, because this is probably one of the only ways that we'll be able to do this. And once we go back to sound money, this is going to allow the buying power to be returned to the people, because this is what the Federal Reserve has done. It has stripped us of our buying power, which really means they have been stealing our wealth. And they've been doing this for quite a while, and it's all about to end. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. Let me click on this Rumble link and show you this video. This video is coming from X22 Report. It's the video I shared with you. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's come back here, and I want to share this page here on my stats for the month for the creator program in Rumble Studio. Okay, and as you can see here, I don't know if you can actually read this or not, but hours streamed from Rumble Studio, my requirement is 30, and I've got 64.2 so far this month. Here it is, the 6th of the month. Hours watched, my requirement is 200. I've got 1,200 hours. I've got 1,350 hours. Okay. Let's jump down here to premium exclusive hours streamed. I need 5. I've got 6.6. Rumble Studio host reads, which was that like the 1775 coffee. I need 5 of those this month. I've got 14. The only thing that's not green here is total unique chatters this month. Chatters, people chatting in the chat box. I need 20. I've got 18. Okay. Let me jump back here and show you that box. All right. Let me close out the chat. I've copied the chats down here into a comment so that Let me give this a thumbs up, so that because the chats will kind of go away when the live stream is over. But right now I've got 136 people watching, and Debbie BS gave me a chat, and M41 Coco gave me a chat. If I could get, just two people that's never chatted before to jump in there and say, hi, I'm here, how you doing, you suck, whatever. Just give me a chat. I would appreciate that. Okay? Now, I do want to remind you that these videos that I shared with you tonight are videos that come directly from the producer. All these videos that I have here, I have the links to the videos themselves, and I have a link to the producer of the video. For example, Wendy Bell, this is the video I shared with you. You click on this link, and it's going to take you right to the video that I shared with you. Okay? Also, Wendy Bell is the producer of this video. The link to this channel is, if you click on that link, it'll take you directly to her channel. This is the video that I just shared with you a few moments ago. So I don't get any commissions or royalties for sharing this information out from these people, but I do this so that you have a place to come to where you can get a variety of information from different producers to have an understanding that there is information out there, no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. Information that you're not going to get from the mainstream media or the deep state swamp. This is information that I put on Murtech.com. I have a link to Murtech.com right here in the description box. Here's a link to Daily News Update, Murtech.com, which is my webpage right over here, where I have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos. The kind of information you're not going to get from the mainstream media. This is your one-stop shop for the no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. Here's the video from X22 report that I shared with you. Here's the video from Wendy Bell that I shared with you. Here's the video up here from The Real Adogg that I shared with you. Here's a video here from Benny Johnson that I shared with you. As I said, I have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos. So it would be great if you could share this information out. Let's come back here and let me do a quick refresh on this screen here for the video that we're watching. All right, pause that. Oh, looky here. Trump's grimy prison cell. Trump's grimy prison cell. Thank you. Thank you for chatting. Anybody else want to jump in there? Let me copy this. Let me copy this again. Great. Put that in a chat because, as I said, these chats are all part of this video and I want them to be a permanent part of this video. Okay. Hey, MAGA losers. Okay. Well, at least it was a chat. Thank you for doing it. I appreciate that. Okay. But at any rate, I've got 148 people watching this video, and I've got 6 thumbs up. Okay, so, if I could get like 142 or 143 of you to jump down here and give me a thumbs up, that would be absolutely fantastic. That would be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay, and before we wrap this up, I do want to give you share some information here from Westwood One Sports on the NFL. Great information.
Hey football fanatics, are you ready for some primetime NFL action? Tune in to Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave.
From jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One.
You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports.
If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One.